After receiving shocking news from my mom, my sister, who had eloped and gone missing years ago, had returned, I headed back home with my son. Sure enough, there were women's shoes at the house. Moreover, my sister Mary came out in her underwear. She laughed and said triumphantly to me, "Aha!
I scored a luxury high-rise and a wealthy husband. You poor folks can keep working your part-time jobs forever."
But then, a voice from behind her.
Too bad for you. Sleeping pills don't work on me anymore.
My husband, Mike, said this nonchalantly as he appeared.
Wait, are you trying to? She's trying to create a fait accompli with me.
He burst into laughter.
And what would that accomplish? The house is all in Sarah's name.
Yes, the high-rise we're living in belongs to me. I got it from an inheritance from my ex-husband. My name is Sarah Smith. I'm a 34-year-old working for an organization dedicated to preserving American classical culture. My husband, Mike, a former colleague, is also studying American classics in graduate school, 3 years my junior. He's currently continuing his research while working towards his PhD. His situation allows him the flexibility to do school and activity runs for our son, Joshua, in my place. But that's not all. Honestly, Mike is far better at household chores than I am. His cooking may not be elaborate, but it's efficient. Aside from his study space, he keeps the rest of the house clean with minimal effort. And he handles laundry and related tasks more delicately and meticulously than I do. I'll take care of your life. Can I ask you to handle the household chores? Those were roughly the words with which I proposed to him. Frankly, I fell for him precisely for these qualities. I'm just too busy to handle everything myself. As long as you don't suffer, continue your research, I said. Even his parents were surprised. They even asked if I intended to treat their son as a gigolo, a memory that now brings a smile to my face. But after discussing our feelings, living arrangements, and our child, we got married, and he became a stay-at-home husband. It was an unusual arrangement, but we were happy and got along well. Then, something unexpected happened. It was Tuesday afternoon. As I was about to leave work for the rare occasion of picking up Joshua in place of Mike, who was preoccupied with his dissertation, I suddenly received a phone call. "Hello, Mom, what's up?" It was from my mom. Our family home is far from the urban center where we currently live, a 5 to 6 hour drive away. Since getting married, we've been visiting them for only the summer or Christmas holidays. So, we usually kept in touch through messaging on cell phones. But direct phone calls were rare. Both my parents schedule the time for me because I'm busy at work.
It's serious, Sarah.
What's the matter all of a sudden?
Mary's come back.
Mary? Mary, that's my sister, 2 years younger than me. However, we haven't seen each other for over 10 years. She ran away from home when she was 18.
Apparently, her husband's company went bankrupt.
Bankrupt?
Yes, she was banging on the intercom, saying her husband had run away in the night after racking up a huge amount of debt. And to avoid debt collectors coming after her, she used his signature without permission, got someone to sign a name, and filed for divorce.
An involuntary wow escaped my lips. So now,
I told her she couldn't stay with us, but she had the nerve to show up and she left her daughter with us.
What? She left her behind?
Yes, she's so young. I asked her age, and I was truly shocked.
What shocked you so much?
When she arrived, I thought she was still in preschool, but she's just a year younger than Joshua.
What? A year younger than 9-year-old Joshua. Then she should be in the 2nd grade. And to think she looked like a preschooler. Mom, is she that small?
She's tiny and skinny, her skin is dry, and she's got chapped skin. For now, I've given her some snacks and let her take a shower, but she seems so uncomfortable.
My mom's voice sounded like she was holding back tears, as if she might break off her words at any moment. But I had to ask this. Mom, you're not going to kick her out, are you?
What are you saying? Of course not. No matter how good for nothing Mary might be, this child is our granddaughter. Her clothes are all tattered too.
That's good. So, Mom, where did Mary go after leaving the child? Yes, I had to ask that.
To your place, Sarah.
Why to my place?
It seems before coming to our place, she went to see some old friends, and somehow she was told you married Rich.
I instinctively placed a hand on my forehead. Whoever it was, telling half the story just causes trouble. Did they give her my address?
No, but it seems she got your work-related cell phone information.
My work-related cell phone. Well, that can't be helped. In my line of work, I sometimes have to use my work phone to some extent.
That's why Dad is hurrying over to your house now.
Dad is.
So please, hold the fort until then.
Wait, Mom, when did Mary leave there? Before I could get an answer, the call with my mom ended. It's just past 3 p.m. Picking up Joshua from school, then taking him to his lessons, waiting for him to finish, going shopping. Mike has been so absorbed in his work since yesterday that he won't be able to cook for tonight and all of tomorrow for sure. So, shopping is absolutely necessary. And even if he finishes writing, he's likely to fall asleep without eating. Usually, after staying up for about 3 days, he sleeps for a day and a half. But if I have to buy a lot of ready-to-make food, it looks like it will be past 6 p.m. before I know it. I'm worried about what will happen.
Wait, Mom has a sister.
Yeah, I have one.
I see.
In the car, after finishing the shopping, I decided to briefly explain the situation to Joshua. Surprised.
Not really. I mean, with our family, I figured there's always something.
Joshua, at 9 years old and in the 3rd grade, is quite bright and a bit mature for his age. Our slightly unconventional family dynamics meant he understood the situation quickly once explained. I guess he takes after his dad in that regard. As a child, I remember just squabbling simply with my sister. Compared to that, Joshua is calm and thoughtful. I'm a little worried. Well, yeah, there's definitely a lot.
Like what?
Where do I start? There are parts of the story that are okay to share with a child and parts that aren't. Remember the house where Mom and Joshua used to live?
Yeah, it's close to Grandma and Grandpa's place, right?
Mom's sister, well, she didn't like living in that town, and over a decade ago, she ran away with someone she loved.
Wow, that's kind of amazing.
Hey, Joshua. Yes, Mary ran away at 18 with the president of a startup who was nearly 40 at the time. It wasn't out of love, though. Mary was involved in compensated dating. Since she was in high school, neither I nor Mary should have had any difficulty with money. My parents also saved enough money to send us to our preferred schools. I got enough money to buy what I wanted. But it seems that wasn't enough for Mary. She went off to a prestigious university downtown, but by the end of her first year, we got a call from the school administration. Guess what? Mary was pregnant at the time. When Dad, furious, demanded to know who the dad was, Mary confessed without hesitation. That man was the one she had just divorced without permission. Angered by both the compensated dating and her partner, our parents told Mary to leave. She left without a fuss and lost contact. If it had been just leaving, we might have tracked her through her health insurance. But she married the guy. When she became a man's dependent, we couldn't keep her feet at all. Once the initial anger subsided, worry set in. No news at all felt like a breach of duty, and my parents had many reasons to be angry. They became the subject of rumors at work and in the neighborhood, feeling shunned for raising such a daughter. How could you have raised a daughter who could do such a thing? My dad was supposed to be promoted to director, but that's off the table now. And other such grievances I heard were unpleasant to recall. However, something my mom said earlier caught my attention. The child Mary left is 8 years old. That means she's not the child Mary was pregnant with all those years ago. What happened to that child? I can't help but wonder.
Mom, you're making a scary face.
Responding to Joshua's comment, I said, "Sorry."
Is something bothering you?
Yeah, it's about your cousin. Eventually, we arrived back at the apartment, lugging the heavy shopping bags between us. But they were too heavy. So we decided to borrow a cart from the concierge at the entrance.
Miss Smith, your sister, Miss Jones, was here earlier.
The concierge informed us. Did you let her in?
We checked and copied her ID, just to be safe.
Oh no, I covered my eyes with my palm again. I'm sorry, it's my fault for not making the rules about who can come and go clearer.
So, we shouldn't have let her in.
Well, yes, but it's okay. This time it's on me, and has my dad arrived yet?
Your dad.
Please hold on, the concierge said before going to check.
He hasn't arrived yet.
I see. Well, when my dad does arrive, please let him in right away.
Understood.
I showed a photo of my dad to the concierge, saying, make sure this person is let in no matter what. Then, we loaded our bags onto the cart and took the elevator to the top floor. We're home. And sure enough, there were women's shoes at the door.
You're back early, aren't you?
My sister, more flamboyant and aged than I remembered. But that wasn't the issue. What's with that outfit? Mary appeared in nothing but her underwear. Joshua, who had been pushing the cart alongside me, was speechless, eyes wide.
What do you mean?
She laughed and said triumphantly to me, "Aha."
Scored a luxury high-rise and a rich husband. Let the poor keep working their part-time jobs forever.
Joshua and I were stunned. But then from behind her came another voice.
Too bad for you. Sleeping pills don't work on me anymore.
Mike appeared behind Mary, wearing nothing but a shirt over his bare skin. Mike's appearance while scratching his shaggy head and Mary's underwear on top of each other can make it look like after an affair. But I had no such parts. I was confident that wasn't the case. I had that confidence.
Using that stuff made me lose my focus. Geez.
Wait, what? You realized it was a sleeping pill, and it didn't work.
I figured I was drugged because of the strange drowsiness, but that doesn't mean I could sleep.
That's not right.
I said, ignoring Mary's comments. Mike turned to Joshua.
Joshua, thanks for helping with the shopping.
Yay, Dad, help me put stuff away.
Pushing the cart inside, Joshua moved toward the kitchen. Okay, Mike said, following him with the cart. And he murmured in a deliberately annoyed and exaggerated tone.
I had heard from Sari about her sister, so I figured there might be something up. But I never expected to be drugged right off the bat. You know, my sleep schedule is all over the place anyway. And with all the stuff I'm thinking about lately, I don't sleep unless I really try to. So yeah, I can tell the difference between natural sleepiness and the drug-induced kind.
Mary's expression grew even more severe.
Well, I figured you were up to something, so I just played along and pretended to sleep. What's with this person?
Mike laid out his words in a calm, matter-of-fact manner. Facing his composed demeanor, Mary, who had seemed so confident at first, was left utterly dumbfounded.
What is with this guy?
There was no better way to say it. She had picked a wrong opponent. What's with you, walking around in that outfit? Were you trying to create some kind of fait accompli by stripping him and pushing him into bed? I let out a deep sigh. Well, why has she always been so foolish? But given the situation, I could guess what had happened. Mary must have learned I was living in a luxury high-rise in the metropolitan area and came here. Then, gathering information around the neighborhood as my sister living in the top-floor penthouse, she found out Mike was a stay-at-home husband doing research related to my current job. Assuming Mike would be home alone, she targeted the time I was out. From Mike's perspective, after repeatedly ignoring the doorbell, he finally answered to find a woman claiming to be my sister. With his mind still half on his dissertation, Mary probably thought, seeing a disheveled, almost pajama-clad man. So she thought like this. Wow, he's young. Did my sister score a younger, intellectual, luxury high-rise owner? That's unfair. I'll steal him. And then, probably carrying sleeping pills for some reason, she tried to drug Mike, strip him, push him into bed, and confront me with the scene. But Mary didn't know Mike. He can become so absorbed in his research and writing that he forgets both time and meals. Attempting such a thing on him was bound to fail, something I knew all too well.
Wait, she was trying to create a fait accompli with me.
Mike's voice grew louder before he erupted into laughter.
What would be the point? The house is all Sarah's, after all.
Yay, what's this aunt even talking about?
Hey, watch it, kid.
Well, technically, he can call you aunt without any issues. He's my son after all.
What, your son? But he's so big, and he's still in his 20s, right?
Well, my sins from my previous marriage.
You remarried. So the rich husband you married.
Something you wouldn't know since you've been running away all this time. As I spoke, I was finally able to go to my room. After hanging up my coat and setting down my bag, Mike served me some tea. Glancing around, I noticed a haphazardly placed bag on the living room table. The bag makes my room feel strangely messy. I felt disgusted. I wanted to get rid of it quickly.
So, you're not going to serve me even a single cup of tea?
Mary watched me drink my tea with a resentful look. I don't really feel like serving someone who drugs their tea.
Eh?
And how long do you plan on staying in that outfit? I don't want a flasher roaming around my house.
First, explain yourself. How come you're the owner of this penthouse?
Oh, why can't conversations with this sister ever go smoothly? Well, I guess I have to explain for her to understand. You see, when my ex-husband passed away, he left us a lot of assets. That's how I bought this place. Paid in full, not a mortgage.
What? Paid in full by you? But this place must be worth millions.
Because that's still just 1/100th of the real estate I currently own. Mary was speechless. Yes, the top floor of this high-rise is completely mine. But that's not all. I now own numerous properties with a total asset value of $200 million. Not only can I live a comfortable life with the income from these properties, but I'm also an advisor to an organization involved in the preservation of American classical culture. Half of it is for tax strategies, and the other half is for Mike's sake. Essentially, my busy daily work involves being a director for this organization. And sometimes I get reports on land matters. Explaining this left Mary astonished.
To you, Sarah.
Yes, to me, because, Mary, you didn't know that I got married right after graduating from college, or even why.
What are you talking about?
Because of the mess you did, Dad's company's credibility plummeted, and we had a tough time.
HMMM. What does it matter what a grown daughter does?
You weren't of legal age at the time. Having a daughter involved in compensated dating from high school made it look like we couldn't even educate our child properly. Mom felt humiliated for a while. Then, I received a marriage proposal from the Brown family.
The Brown family?
Yes, the so-called lords of our hometown.
What? You married into that prestigious family?
I sighed deeply. Then, Mike kindly moved Joshua away, saying, "Let's go over there for a bit." Joshua understood it was an adult conversation.
So, you married into that family?
Yes, but not the person you're thinking of. I married the elder brother, who was the heir at the time.
What? The bedridden, so-called burden of the Brown family?
Yes, it was him. Indeed, my ex-husband was referred to that way. He has been sickly since birth, has hardly been to school, and has always had a doctor. That's why they said he was the burden of the prestigious family. Indeed, the family's burden from an outsider's perspective. But that was never how his family saw him. They all loved him dearly, without any desires. He happened to fall for me during one of my visits home, seen in a hospital. The Brown lords even came to our house. My son, who had never wanted anything before, wanted only one thing, so family members came to ask me, who was more than 10 years younger than him. I married at 22, partly to widen my parents' shoulders. My husband passed away while Joshua was still in my womb. My pregnancy was through IVF, since he didn't have the strength for a natural conception, fulfilling his parents' wish and mine, and I myself agreed for the sake of my sweet ex-husband. He passed away, leaving only his name for our child, unable to see his face. Left a young widow, his parents thanked me, leaving his inheritance as per his will. However, relatives eyeing the inheritance like vultures made me move to a secure high-rise downtown when Joshua started kindergarten. How can you expect me to believe such a windfall story? Mary shook her head in disbelief. She yelled at me with a look of utter disgust on her face. Even if you say that.
So what about him now? After inheriting so much, you were allowed to remarry.
I was. Though I didn't need permission, I consulted them out of respect for my wonderful in-laws, who apologized for having me spend my best years caring for a sick man and undergoing IVF.
As if the inheritance wasn't enough.
They said life and time can't be bought with money. My kind in-laws, who had lost their beloved son to illness, understood the value of time and life well. They must have been touched by their wealth. After moving to the city center, I found myself exhausted from solo parenting, a stark contrast to the life surrounded by my in-laws. That's when I reconnected with Mike, a junior from college who had admired me. He became a great help to me, overwhelmed as I was. As he came and went, gradually Joshua grew fond of him. And I found myself wishing he would stay with us permanently, so I proposed. My in-laws described Mike as apparently harmless to anything but academics. Their support, rather than opposition, was probably also to deter relatives who were pushing their candidates for remarriage.
So, you're the only one getting a good deal.
Mary started to say when my phone's ringtone interrupted her. A call at this time meant, I switched the phone to speaker mode after answering.
Hello, Sarah. I was worried because you hadn't replied to my messages. Are you okay?
Mary groaned on the spot. Mom, I'm fine.
Good. I thought I heard a noise like stepping on a frog. Is Mary there by any chance?
Yes, she is. I looked at Mary with a full smile.
Mom, why do you know this place?
You always forget what you've said after 3 steps. Didn't you say you were going to your sister's place?
Terrible. Why do you treat my sister differently even though we're both your daughters?
Mary yelled at the phone, genuinely angry.
What? As if you have the right to say that. After you left, Sarah marrying into the Brown family ended the terrible rumors surrounding our family. It wasn't quite being outcasts, but Dad's prominent position in the company only made the rumors worse. That situation lasted only 2 years thanks to Sarah. The Brown family helped a lot, saving our neighbors, relatives, and Dad's company factions. You were about to ruin all Dad's hard work and progress in the city's most important company.
That's your problem. I never asked him to succeed.
Yet, we could attend a private college in the city because of that.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you get to hold it over me.
Well, maybe you're right about that, Mary, but what about the child you had in your belly back then?
Mom's voice turned cold as she asked Mary.
What?
You ran off with your partner because you were pregnant. What happened to that child?
He took the child with him.
I managed to contact him.
No, groaned Mary.
I got his number when I looked for your whereabouts through the Brown family connection.
My mom told me so.
He apologized for running away and thanked me for the divorce. He may not have been great at making money, but he was a better person than you. He's working somewhere far away to pay off his debts alone.
Alone? I asked Mom.
Yes, alone. You can guess what that means, Sarah.
Mom had mentioned that the child Mary brought was in a terrible state. I quickly turned to Mary. You, the child?
Stop it. Why are you looking at me like that?
Mom mentioned that the daughter you left with her was terribly malnourished.
That's because things have been tough lately.
Tough for someone carrying that kind of bag. I pointed to the bag thrown on the living room table. It's clearly a designer brand, isn't it?
I bought it 2 or 3 years ago.
Mom said she is just a year younger than Joshua, yet she looks like she's in preschool, right, Mom?
Yes, she is.
My mom's voice grew even lower.
Her name is Ava, right? Has she been attending kindergarten or school regularly? She seems a bit delayed in her speech.
Of course, she has.
Grandma, is Mom over there?
A frail voice came from the other end.
Yes, Ava, do you want to talk to Mom?
No. I definitely don't want to go back. I don't want to go back to Mom's.
Ava, Mary's daughter, started crying on the other end.
I don't want to end up like my sister.
I see. The grim reality seemed to hide behind those words.
We've been talking for a bit. She seems to have had an older sister.
My mom hinted at something in the past tense. So, what happened?
I don't know anything about that.
Mary hastily tried to grab her bag and clothes.
You can't.
But Mike grabbed her arm, and Joshua secured the bag and clothes. Then, turning to another phone.
Grandpa, now's the time.
With that signal, the front door opened.
Police. We received a report of trespassing and assault, and allegations of child abuse. We are here to detain the woman involved.
Sarah, good job buying us time.
Dad. The police, about 3 of them, secured Mary on the spot.
Are you all right, Miss Smith?
Yes, I am fine. The concierge was also standing by the entrance. The one who had opened the door.
It's been a while, Mary.
Dad.
One of the officers took the clothes and bag from Joshua. A blanket, likely brought in advance, was draped over Mary since they couldn't dress her in those clothes right away. Pointing to the bag, Mike said, I haven't checked inside, but I believe it contains sleeping pills. I'll be coming along for a blood test. I have a resistance, but it should still be in my system.
We appreciate your cooperation.
Then, over the phone, my mom asked me to switch to camera mode. The camera revealed my mom holding a small girl in her arms.
Officers, this woman seems to have subjected her first child to terrible treatment, leading to the loss of a small life, our first grandchild.
Ava was wearing clothes that Joshua had outgrown long ago. My parents still had Joshua's clothes from when he was little. Joshua, who was quite big for his age when he was about to enter kindergarten. His old clothes fits on his cousin, Ava. I saw Ava's thin, bony wrists through the cuffs.
That's my old clothes. Hi, are you Ava?
Joshua gently spoke to his cousin over the screen. This is the kindness he received from his biological dad.
Yes. Who are you?
I'm Joshua, your cousin. I'm 1 year older, so I guess I'm your big brother.
Big brother.
With that, Ava, perhaps reminded of her lost sibling, started to cry again.
You should come and play sometime.
Okay, the girl nodded meekly through the screen.
Then, Sarah, we'll take her away now. Sorry for the intrusion. Joshua, let's play chess with Grandpa later.
Okay, I'll be waiting.
Right after our exchange,
What is this? Your own little soap opera. And here I am, having lost everything.
hearing this, I strode towards Mary and slapped her sharply across the face.
No, violent woman. Officer, arrest her for obstructing public duties too.
While restraining Mary, who was struggling, the officer gave me a wry smile and tried to calm the situation. I'm sorry, but I just had to say it to my sister.
What do you want?
Everything you've lost is because of your own actions. It's nobody else's fault. Nothing's coming back to you, and I won't let it. That child will be mine. Don't you ever dare get involved with us again.
Let's go, everyone.
Mike urged my dad.
All right, see you later, Sarah.
I'll be waiting, Dad. Take care, you all. After seeing them off, I collapsed onto the couch.
Are you okay, Mom?
I'm just really tired.
It's good we did the shopping today. Ho.
Indeed. What a day it had been. To think it had only been 6 hours since Mom's call. Later, Dad and Mike returned to say Mary would be detained by the police for a while.
No bail. Absolutely not.
Dad declared over a late dinner, his voice strained. She's already divorced, so there's no one on her side to take her in. Let's just get her tried quickly. Eventually, Mary was sentenced to actual jail time. She had caused her family back home great distress, led to the death of one child, and was now abandoned by the remaining child. Sometime later, my parents brought Ava to live with us.
You've become so pretty.
Joshua's words made Ava's face turn red.
Where did you learn to talk like that, huh?
Dad, stop. It tickles. Stop.
Joshua laughed, playing with Mike. Watching this scene of an adoptive dad and son, Ava looked on in amazement.
Are you sure, Auntie?
She mumbled about staying with us. I had prepared myself to adopt her, believing it to be the best course of action. Initially, I considered letting her grow up with my parents. However, they feared she might endure stigma as that girl's child in our hometown. My parents planned to move closer to me after retirement. We settled on the idea of traveling together for the summer holidays and Christmas. Ava seems a bit behind in her studies, making it difficult for her to attend the same school as Joshua. Yet, our life promises to be far better than her previous one. With the source of turmoil gone, we can now focus on finding happiness. We have plenty of time,